the Netherlands. No country in the history of the competition has reached 3 finals, 0 titles. And the truly baffling part? The Dutch are not a nation that simply got lucky and stumbled into those finals. They are one of the most historically decorated football nations on Earth, tied for the all-time record for producing the most Ballon d'Or winners ever. So how exactly has a country this gifted never managed to lift the one trophy that matters most? Let's go through it. To understand the Dutch relationship with World Cup heartbreak, you have to start in the 1970s, because that was when Dutch football reached its absolute peak, and when the cruelest of the disappointments began. At the center of everything was one man, Johan Cruyff, widely regarded as one of the 2 or 3 greatest footballers ever to have played the game, and the man who essentially invented the way modern football is played. Cruyff embodied the philosophy of total football. Total football is a system built on freedom and fluidity. Instead of players being locked into fixed positions, every outfield player could take over the role of another, switching positions constantly, pressing as a unit, and attacking as an entire team rather than individuals. In an era where football was rigid and positional, this style was completely revolutionary, and Cruyff was its perfect representative. He played primarily as a striker and creative forward, but he had the technical ability to influence matches from anywhere on the pitch. 3 Ballon d'Or awards, touch, control, and dribbling that few players in any era could match, vision that could unlock any defensive structure, and pace that caught most defenders completely off guard. Finding a single modern comparison is almost impossible. The closest might be something like a prime Kaká, combined with the intelligence of Iniesta and the leadership qualities of Luka Modric, all packaged into one player. Alongside Cruyff in that 1974 squad were some of the best Dutch players of any generation. Johan Neeskens, one of the best midfielders of his era, later named in FIFA's 125 greatest living footballers, and an explosive box-to-box presence who could score as well as destroy. Rob Rensenbrink, a winger and forward with an extraordinary goal return throughout his career, a natural finisher with real technical quality. Wim van Hanegem, a technically outstanding midfielder who actually won the Dutch Footballer of the Year award ahead of Cruyff himself, known for his passing accuracy and exceptional ball retention. And Ruud Krol, a defender who finished 3rd in the 1979 Ballon d'Or, a rarity for a centre-back, and recognized as one of the best ball-playing defenders in the world. This was not a one-man team. This was a stacked squad. In the 1974 World Cup, they were devastating. They destroyed Argentina 4-0, with Cruyff scoring twice. They dismantled Brazil 2-0 in what should have been the defining match of the tournament. They beat East Germany 2-0 to reach the final. And then they played West Germany in the final. Inside the first 2 minutes of the match, before a West German player had even touched the ball, Cruyff made a driving run into the penalty area, was brought down, and Neeskens converted the penalty. Netherlands 1-0. 2 minutes played. But that early goal seemed to take the edge off the Dutch. They lost their urgency, and West Germany had their own legends to call upon. Franz Beckenbauer, one of the greatest sweepers in football history, controlled the game from the back and gradually helped West Germany find their footing. Paul Breitner scored a penalty to level the match, and then Gerd Muller, one of the most clinical goal scorers the sport has ever produced, struck before halftime to make it 2-1. The Netherlands pushed for an equalizer. It never came. West Germany won 2-1. Cruyff was named player of the tournament. He won his 3rd Ballon d'Or that year. But the one thing he and his entire nation wanted most, the trophy, had slipped away. 4 years later, in 1978, the Netherlands were back in the final. This time without Cruyff, who had retired from international football after helping his country qualify. The squad still had many of the same names from 1974: Neeskens, Rensenbrink, Rep, Hahn, Krol, and the Van de Kerkhoff brothers. They were still a formidable side. They beat Austria 5-1. They defeated a strong Italy team 2-1. They held defending champions West Germany to a 2-2 draw. But in the final, they came up against the hosts, Argentina, And without the creative genius of Cruyff pulling the strings, the Netherlands struggled to impose themselves against Argentina's physicality and attacking threat. Mario Kempes, one of the greatest Argentine players of his generation, opened the scoring with a powerful finish just before the break. The Dutch pushed hard. In the 82nd minute, they equalized and forced the match into extra time. But Argentina came back stronger. Kempes struck again. Then Bertoni added a third. Argentina 3-1 Netherlands after extra time. For the second consecutive World Cup final, the Netherlands had come agonizingly close and had nothing to show for it. Kempes walked away with the Golden Boot, the Golden Ball, and the Ballon d'Or. The Netherlands walked away with silver medals again. Fast forward to the late 1980s, and the Netherlands produced what is arguably the greatest trio in their football history: Ruud Gullit, Marco van Basten, and Frank Rijkaard. At one point, all three finished in the top positions of Ballon d'Or voting. Rijkaard was a complete and versatile defensive midfielder. Gullit was an all-action forward and creative force. Van Basten was one of the deadliest center forwards ever to play the game. Alongside them were names like Ronald Koeman, Wim Kieft, and Gerald Vandenberg. This group delivered the Netherlands their only major international trophy, the 1988 European Championship. The squad was young, electrifying, and full of belief. People genuinely thought this was finally the generation that would bring a World Cup home. But at the 1990 World Cup in Italy, they barely made it out of the group stage, finishing third behind England and the Republic of Ireland, before being eliminated by West Germany in the round of 16. For a squad of that quality, it was a massive underachievement.
Then came 1998, a different generation, perhaps not as technically brilliant at the top, but with excellent chemistry and real squad depth. Dennis Bergkamp, Edgar Davids, Mark Overmars, Frank and Ronald de Boer, Patrick Kluivert. The Netherlands topped their group unbeaten, beat Yugoslavia in the last 16, and defeated Argentina in the quarterfinals.
Then they came up against Brazil in the semifinal, the heavy favorites led by Ronaldo. Ronaldo scored just before halftime. Kluivert equalized in the final minute of normal time, but the Dutch lost 4-2 on penalties. Another heartbreak, another near miss. Their closest shot at the final in 20 years. That brings us to 2010, and arguably the most complete and well-balanced Dutch squad in the history of the national team. Robin van Persie leading the attack, Wesley Sneijder pulling the strings from midfield, Arjen Robben providing pace, directness, and goals from the wing. The defensive structure was equally solid. Giovanni van Bronckhorst commanding from left back, John Heitinga and Gregory van der Wiel organized and dependable, Nigel de Jong, the relentless ball winner in midfield, Rafael van der Vaart and Mark van Bommel completing one of the hardest midfields to break down in that tournament. And in goal, Martin Stecklenburg, arguably the best performing goalkeeper at the tournament alongside Iker Casillas.
The Netherlands were outstanding from start to finish. They won their group without drawing or losing a single match.
They beat Slovakia comfortably in the last 16. Then they produced one of the great World Cup upsets by beating Brazil 2-1 in the quarterfinals, a result that stopped the footballing world. They edged past Uruguay 3-2 in a tightly contested semifinal. The final against Spain was one of the most intense, fiercely contested games in World Cup history. A record 14 yellow cards were issued during the match, a testament to just how much was at stake and how hard both teams were competing for every single ball. Arjen Robben had the moment of the match, breaking clean through on goal with only Iker Casillas to beat. Casillas produced a save that has gone down in football history, getting his trailing boot to the ball at the very last fraction of a second. Spain survived, and in extra time, Andres Iniesta scored the winning goal. The Netherlands had reached a third World Cup final and lost for the third time. The 2026 World Cup offered yet another opportunity, a squad built around the experience and leadership of Virgil van Dijk, with quality throughout. Nathan Ake, Frankie de Jong in the middle of the park, Denzel Dumfries providing thrust from right wing-back. High hopes, a new generation, the same expectation, but they never got going. In the round of 32, they came up against Morocco, a penalty shootout, another elimination, another early exit without adding to the history of the game. 3 World Cup finals, 0 titles, and now another tournament ended on penalties before it had even reached the quarterfinals. The Netherlands remain the greatest footballing nation never to have won the World Cup, and the wait goes on.